Hi there to all of you viewers of Equinoxe Television, 6 p.m. in Douala. It's time for the news. Thank you so much for joining us. Our Majesties, right away, the year 2023 is gradually coming to a close, and it was a sad one to several families across the national territory who lost their loved ones in some incidents and accidents which happened in the country. We still remember the Mobile Guinness mudslides and also what happened in Bankolo in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. We will be coming back to all those sad news elements in this edition of the news. And also in sports, Cameroonians are reacting positively and negatively after the published list of Rigobert Song Bahanak that was during a press conference in Yaoundé yesterday. Some of them are reacting negatively over the absence of Choupo-Moting and the presence of Douala Wilfried on the list. Viewers, those are our Majesty details when we come back. Welcome back, viewers. Thank you so much for the confidence. We told you in the headlines a while ago, the year 2023 is gradually coming to a close, and it was a sad year for many families who lost loved ones in different incidents and accidents across the national territory. In some cases, close to 10 members of the same family died in those accidents. Babila Jonathan takes us back to some major deadly accidents recorded this year in Cameroon.
Hundreds of persons died in different incidents across Cameroon this year. At least 40 persons died when a building collapsed at Mobile Guinness in Douala, and at least 30 in a landslide in Bankolo in Yaoundé, in Nyala in the Douala 3 subdivision, and in Cassava Farm in Limbe. 2 persons were killed in other landslides. On the highways, blood was spilled from north to south, east to west. On National Road number 3, 16 persons perished in an accident in Idea, including 4 out of 5 members of the same family in a car that hit a truck. On the road Akiba, 30 kilometers away from Garwa Bulai in the east region, 13 members of the same family in Pitwa in the north region. 10 deaths at La Falaise Dembe, 40 kilometers away from Gaoundere in the Adamawa region. One of the major accidents recorded in the central region this year triggered the death of 10 persons in a fork on the road linking Obala and Yaoundé. 16 persons perished in 2 separate accidents in Misole in the littoral region and on the Bafoussam Fumbot road in the west region, while 6 deaths, including 3 students of Government Technical High School Ombe, were recorded in another accident in Moliwe in the southwest region of Cameroon. All these incidents left several persons injured and enormous material damage.
And still in news, in retrospect, over 80 women have been killed in less than a year due to violence meted on them. Most of the victims were either killed with the aid of machetes, daggers, or molested to death by their partners or unknown individuals. Immaculate Fogo in the report which comes up next does a retrospective of such cases since the beginning of the year 2023.
Mommy, I'm weak. I'm weak, Mommy. I'm weak, I'm tired.
Her unattended cry for help sends her to an early grave. Jan Nyongo, an English teacher at Government Bilingual High School Nilong in Douala, is the most recent case of femicide reported in Cameroon. Femicide is gradually becoming a national crisis given the rapid rise in cases. In less than a year, cases of femicide have been reported in 8 out of 10 regions of the country, bringing the total number to over 80. In the month of November, a seamstress in Douala got stabbed by a boyfriend who was suspecting her of being unfaithful. On the 11th of April 2023, 12-year-old Lindwa Marie Nubisi dies after being severely beaten by her uncle who was accusing her of stealing a sum of 20,000 francs CFA. Still in Yaoundé, The mutilated corpse of a lady known as Desiree Martine Jumesi was discovered on the 15th of July in the Van neighborhood. After an autopsy was carried out, doctors confirmed she had been tortured to death. Another case was reported on April 11, 2023. Lidwa Marie, who came to Cameroon to attend her sister's burial, got attacked and was later killed by unidentified individuals. In the far north region of the country, precisely in Mokolo, Dangmang Chung Wambo, a chemistry and physics teacher, got stabbed by her husband who was accusing her of being unfaithful. In Bafusam, 24-year-old Diane Melo, who ran away from her matrimonial home due to violence, was later discovered in a well at her family compound. These are just few of the many cases of femicide recorded across the national territory. Despite huge improvement in gender-based violence legislation, femicide remains a rampant danger for women in Cameroon.
And now many people, especially adolescents, have been victims of rape in the Cameroonian society. In the year 2023, others have repeated cases from similar abuses because of their silence. We spoke to a physician. He revealed several factors including guilt, fear, for stigma, threats, absence of support, custom and tradition cause victims not to report they have been raped or sexually abused, thus also exposing them to infections and psychological problems. Innocent Aze tells us more. We come back to this story in which so many persons in Cameroon, especially adolescents, are said to be victims of rape in the Cameroonian society. Others have repeated cases from similar abuses because of their silence. A physician revealed that so many causes so many factors including guilt, fear, false stigma, threat, absence of support, custom and tradition are some of the causes for silence. Let's now have more with Innocent Aze.
Statistics from an expert reveal 3 out of 100 women, 1 adolescent out of 5 in Cameroon are sexually abused, with 80% of the perpetrators being family members. The rate of victims shy to report rape stands at 80%.
There are many factors that are involved. The main one being the cultural factor, because here sex is taboo. Don't even talk about rape. So the fact that it's taboo makes it something not to discuss. Still based on the fact that it's taboo, when the child will see what happened, people are likely just to shut her down or not even to listen to whatever she's saying for many reasons. Stigmatization and many other things. If you go and disclose what your dad did, what will be coming after that if you don't have any parents to support you? Some people may not even realize that something bad happened. When she grows up and when her mind opens a bit more, she realizes that what happened a long time ago was not normal, was not supposed to happen. And then from that time, she can realize that she has been raped.
Nursing the ill by victims is very dangerous, both in the short and long run.
Mental illnesses such as anxiety disorders or depression. And now in the long term, rape can predispose you to any mental illness, almost all of them, and including even medical conditions such as high blood, diabetes, even CVA or obesity. The behavior the person may have may change her regards to the opposite gender, seeing the other gender as a predator and seeing her gender as a victim, or his gender because it also involves men.
Dr. Togwengi Mikael encourages rape denunciation by victims and establishment of real institutions to fight it.
There should be structures to assist people, the victims of rape. When these structures are not in place, it means that the person is vulnerable.
Victims of rape are advised to open up to parents, institutions for help, and physicians for psychological rehabilitation and immediate treatment from infections.
It's very important to speak up when you are sexually assaulted by whosoever. And the persistent increase in cases of violence in Cameroon remains a challenge to the civil society. Human rights advocates and even psychologists are stepping efforts to curb its reoccurrence. Psychologists call on the population to denounce any act of violence around them, as Lucy Liengu Isie tells us in the report. This comes up next.
In Cameroon, recent statistics show that 10% of the population struggle with depression, while the prevalence of anxiety disorders stands at 6%. The rate of persons living with depression has increased, with many being victims of domestic violence, rape, socio-economic violence, amongst others, with women being the most vulnerable.
In our society, many of people victim of the violence is the woman. And woman is considered like person who should keep the secret so that the society will not know what happened.
The fear of not being stigmatized has pushed many to be silent.
They don't like to express themselves because at first they think that maybe if I express myself, they will begin to laugh me and say that, oh, look at them.
The silence of victims has been preoccupying to psychologists in the city of Douala, who saw it necessary to organize an open day in order to give a listening ear to all facing challenges. The experts urge the population to be open-minded so they can receive the needed advices and assistance.
But you are curing yourself because that suffering, when you stay in, it is like a pain. That pain staying in, you have to explain yourself, so to be, it is the first action to cure yourself.
The participants express satisfaction.
Because it's not easy to find a person who is able and who have the capacity of understanding what your pain and what you are going through. This is an occasion for the population, for women.
Taking the responsibility to denounce acts of violence merited on people, according to psychologists, can help reduce cases and mitigate the effects in the community.
And the arrested legal mind, Barrister Johnny Banang, will have to remain in detention until January 2nd. Dozens of lawyers who were defending him at the Douala Court of First Instance that was yesterday pressed for his freedom to no avail. The case was adjourned. Babila Jonathan followed the hearing at the Bonanjo Court of First Instance and later spoke to the representative of the Cameroon Bar Council president.
Barrister Banang Johnny has been under pre-trial detention at the Douala Central Prison for 2 days running now, and he had been in police custody for over 10 days. He was picked up at the Douala International Airport on the 16th of December 2023. He's been prosecuted in connection to a business litigation. The case was heard. The hearing took place today in the Douala 1 Court of First Instance, and after the hearing, after the pleas of the different lawyers who came up to speak on his behalf, the matter was adjourned to the 2nd of January 2024. Now, let's get to know more about this case from the representative of the Cameroon Bar Council president in Douala, Barrister Serge Zange, is going to tell us more about this. Barrister, what is the situation? Can we know more about this case?
Yes, indeed. I think you have even already summarized. You know that the matter is already before the court in trial, and therefore we can really not say too much about the case. But what we can say is what we have seen is that today we were expecting that today at this hearing the judge will at least give him, set him free. But as you have seen, the State Council is the one who has requested an adjournment, saying that he do not have his, that he's not ready for trial, and we have requested that the court grants, set our colleague free. And after our demonstrations, and as the State Department has to give his opinion, the State Council has again asked for an adjournment to take instruction in order to give his opinion.
The adjournment came after the State Council said he didn't know that he was a lawyer, that the barrister was a lawyer, and now he's just discovering that. What's your take on that?
No, indeed, he has said what he has said. We are not going to judge, but it is crystal clear that from the far beginning of this case, it was known that he is a lawyer. Even if at the far beginning it was not known, we have sent formal letters to the State Council and to the authorities, and clearly indicating that the person under custody was a lawyer.
That was the representative of the Cameroon Bar Council president here in Douala. The matter has been adjourned to the 2nd of January 2024. Reporting from the Douala 1 Court of First Instance in Bonanjo, We are Gires Yopa and Babla Jonathan.
Thank you, Babila Jonathan. In other news, over 200 workers of a forestry company here in the city of Douala began staging a peaceful sit-down strike action that was yesterday in Bunanjo. The staff are requesting for the payment of their salary arrears. They also complain of not receiving a dime promised them of their National Social Insurance Fund. Lucinda Yengu ACS spoke with some of them. She now tells us more.
Workers of a forestry company with headquarters in Douala are staging a peaceful protest. The workers are demanding the payment of their 10 months unpaid salaries and the National Social Insurance Fund, CNPS, which has not been paid since 2019.
Vis-à-vis this problem of the salaries, I mean the arrears owed to the workers. And then the CNPS, that is the National Insurance Fund. So after several years, we realized that the company is owing huge sums of money. I mean, hundreds of millions owed to the CNPS. Yes, that has not been paid.
The workers say they have had several negotiation meetings with the hierarchy, but all in vain.
We lay our complaint at the governor's office. The governor sent us back to the labor office. We went to the labor office. The labor office is actually the one mediating between the company and the workers. The last meeting, which was held in November, that is precisely on the 22nd of November. After the meeting, it was heard that these salaries were to be paid before the 25th of December, but actually nothing has been done.
With an approximate number of over 2,500 staff strength spread across subcontracting firms, the angry workers are bent on carrying on the peaceful protest till their problems are resolved. Many of them have their children at home as a result of the difficulties they are facing.
Yes, we are then calling on the government to step in and help us to solve the problem so that our children can go to school freely now. Up till now, most of our children are not going to school. They are in the house.
Equinoxe Television seek to have an interview with one of the assistant directors who refused granting the interview.
And the security crisis in the northwest and southwest regions of Cameroon remain a major hindrance to the effective functioning of municipal councillors in the region. Municipal authorities say the impact is mostly felt in the execution of council internal projects as well as public investment budgets. These worries were raised in the Mamfe and Tico councils during their separate budgetary sessions. For me, I'm Sean Sander.
Speaking during and after the budgetary session at the Mamfe Council Hall, the mayor of Mamfe, Robertson Tabenchon, regrets that his council was unable to record a 100% project execution in 2023. The mayor blames it on insecurity.
And as we speak, because of the crisis, we are not very sure to collect revenues 100%. That is the more reason we were unable to realize our action plan for 2023.
Another impact of the crisis is felt on the council revenue collection, and the Mamfe Council, like most councils in the English-speaking regions of Cameroon, depends solely on state subventions, which is increasingly becoming scarce. The mayor says his council plans to initiate more council internal projects in 2024.
We are about to effect the instruction of the Minister of Decentralization in creating the neighborhood committees and village committees. You know, these members will enable the council, will help the council in realizing their project.
Over in the Tico subdivision of the Fako division, still of the southwest region, councillors say the council rather performed well in 2024 despite the challenging security context in the region.
Despite the plethora of challenges encountered this year, we still bridge the gap by realizing close to 100% of our annual investment plan.
Counting more realizations in terms of projects, they say the Tico Council will step up the game in 2024.
The task is enormous, but I'm very positive that with the energetic and proactive spirit of this honorable house, we will attain our objectives.
In Tico, like in Mamfe, supervisory authority.
And now we take you to news out of the country. In Chad, the Supreme Court definitely validated the results of the referendum for a new constitution organized by the military junta that has been in power for the past 2.5 years, a key step intended to pave the way for elections in the country by the end of the year 2024. Details with Mala Glory.
Over 40 people have died after a fuel tanker crashed and exploded in central Liberia. More than 83 people are receiving treatment in different hospitals after sustaining injuries. The tanker overturned along a road in Totata town, about 130 kilometers from the capital, Monrovia. Witnesses say it burst into flames soon after people rushed to the site to scoop fuel from the tanker. The cause of the crash is still unclear. Meantime, Liberia's President George Weah has expressed his condolence to the families of the victims. He also promised to give his full support to save lives. And elsewhere, Chadians have approved a new constitution in a referendum that the military authorities say will pave the way for elections and the return of civilian rule. A large part of the opposition and civil society groups boycotted the referendum, arguing that it aims to prepare the election of General Muhammad Idris Deby Itno. Despite the widespread boycott, the authorities in Chad said the referendum was approved by 86% of the votes. The new constitution will maintain the unity of the state in Chad, while some opponents demand a federal state.
And still in foreign news, Zambian authorities announced that was on Thursday that they are to step up their health campaign to combat cholera, a disease that has been on the rise since the month of October and has already claimed the lives of hundreds of people in Zambia. And over to the DRC, Felix Tshisekedi urges towards victory in the presidential election. Let's now have more with Cedric Chakutio this time around.
111 new cases of contamination were recorded in 24 hours. The Zambian authorities announced that they were stepping up their health campaign to combat cholera, a disease that has been on the rise since October and has already claimed the lives of nearly 100 people in the southern African country this year. The Minister of Health, Sylvia Masebo, called for more drastic hygiene measures in households. According to the National Institute of Public Health, there have been 93 deaths this year from this acute diarrheal infection, mostly since October. The World Health Organization has expressed concern at the growing number of cholera cases worldwide in recent years, with Africa being the hardest hit. Note, Zambia is also facing its worst anthrax epidemic since 2011. And in Democratic Republic of Congo, of the 12.5 million votes counted by the Electoral Commission, 60-year-old Felix Tshisekedi, who is seeking a second 5-year term, obtained 9.5 million. He was followed by businessman and former governor of Katanga, Moise Kutumbi, with 16.5%, and another opponent, Martin Fayulu, with 4.4%. Nearly 44 million voters of a total population of around 100 million were called to the polls. The CENI did not establish a turnout figure. However, no official statement was made. The CENI long-established timetable calls for the publication of the full provisional result of the presidential elections on December 31st. The Constitutional Court, on their part, is due to have the final say in January.
And now we talk sports. Fans or supporters of the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon say the absence of an experienced player like Eric Maxime Choupo-Moting is an error they noticed on a list that was published by the head coach Rigobert Bahanak yesterday in Yaoundé. They are, however, hoping that the team is going to represent the country honorably in Ivory Coast. That would be as from January. Smart Njikangere sampled some opinions. He now tells us more in this report.
The publication of the names of 27 foot soldiers who will represent Cameroon at the African Nations Cup by head coach Rigobert Bahanak Wednesday is still making news. Many Cameroonians are disappointed with the fact that the coach completely forgot about the best player of Cameroon, Emmanuel Mahob Dikunge of Coton Sport of Garoua.
I'm sure we have somebody that won the Cameroon Best Player of the Year, and I was thinking that person should feature in Mr. Song's list. But I was amazed the list came up and his name was not there.
And disappointment goes to the fact that the player who was recently crowned as the Ballon d'Or winner could not make it to the 22-man squad. It's a disappointment, and it's Cameroon.
The football fans are also surprised at the absence of the vice captain of the Indomitable Lions, Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting.
I'm not happy with the fact that Choupo-Moting was left out. I want to think that there are certain players in the team, they call them playmakers, who can make a difference when it is difficult to score a goal. Unfortunately, he was left out.
I was not happy when I saw key players like Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting that plays in Bayern Munich and the Five Collins. As an Anglophone, I'm not excited that I'm seeing only J. Clinton, I'm not seeing Five Collins.
The inclusion of youth in the list of Song was also highlighted, as well as the inclusion of home-based players.
I also appreciate the fact that he has touched some young stars. They have fished some people from all those lost sheep.
I'm glad that he at least recognized our local league and selected a certain Wilfred to allow from Opopo. I'm glad that Opopo, President Bob Didi, has raised the level of professionalism in the club. Is doing the best to have good players.
The Indomitable Lions begin effective preparation for the AFCON this Sunday in the Saudi Arabian city of Jeddah.
And a goodbye ceremony took place today in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé, to bid farewell to the Lions as they prepare to go to Côte d'Ivoire. That would be in the month of January to represent the country in the AFCON competition. And again, we tell them all the best. And viewers, thank you so much for always being with us. Don't go away, our programs continue. Equinoxe in about 30 minutes, and the news in the French language comes up at 8 p.m. Stay with us on Equinoxe Television, and a very prosperous New Year in advance to you all.